Perfect Pass Ultimate Drive Shafts. Finally. I know you guys been waiting for a very long time. We've been waiting as well. Sorry for the wait. It took over 6 months to master the production of these, since these are hand-built. Each one of them is hand-built, and the tolerances and accuracy, you're talking about thousandths of an inch when it comes to the fusion between the titanium and the carbon fiber, when it comes to the pins, the bearings, the cups. Like, let me explain. If you're new here, my name is Raz Shifrin. I guess I'm your hand model for today, right? If you're buying one of those Arma 7 scale, you're receiving them with that drive shaft, right? It's kind of small. It's metal, of course. The pins are tiny, and it is easily bent, and it flatters at high speed. It's just a no-go if you're doing drag speed runs or if you're doing hardcore bashing. Long time ago, we came up with something that was proprietary for the industry. It was the carbon fiber drive shafts for those cars, the Arma 7 scale, obviously Arma Limitless, Arma Infraction, and the Arma Felony. That's how we started. That was the V1 off-the-shelf carbon fiber, but we wanted to actually have something a little bit stronger. You guys wanted a little bit stronger drive shaft, so then we came up with the V2. The V2 is actually our carbon fiber. It's a proprietary technology that Perfect Pass invented, and this is what we were using. So we had the stock gone, then we had a V1, then we had another version which was the V2, and then we came up with the V3, which is bigger carbon fiber. That's the biggest you can actually fit in the car without hitting the motor. If you have a big can, that's a 12 millimeter carbon fiber, still same proprietary technology that we had. The balls were bigger, and then the pins are finally bigger. If you're looking at normal pins that are 3 millimeter, and these were 3.5. They're just bigger, beefier pins. We came up with a V3. So we had V1, V2, V3, and now there is no more V1, V2, V3. Now it's finally the ultimate. We call it the ultimate because after 4 versions, this is the ultimate version that should last, well, I don't know if forever, but for a very, very long time, because I don't think you can get better than this. The carbon fiber that we're using is 12 millimeter carbon fiber, obviously our proprietary technology. The fittings that we're using are titanium, they're ours, and the pins are 3.5 millimeters, so they're beefier pins. Because we're using beefier pins, we're obviously had to create our own drive cups that actually entertain beefier pins. So we have 5 millimeter drive cups and 8 millimeter drive cups, depending on the configuration that you're purchasing. Obviously, every drive cup have 2 set screws. They're interlocked, they're very, very strong, and they're 5 millimeter that fits a 2.5 millimeter drive, so they're not going to be eaten easily. Also, we are providing them with flat bottoms, so hopefully you can see it on camera. So they actually lock into those differentials or into the titanium spool that we're providing with each kit. The other side is a tripod CV design. In a minute, I'm going to explain how we got the idea and what we were inspired by, and this is how this looks. Those are very durable 8 millimeter bearings, and they're in there. Why? Well, for those Armas, you have a certain kick up in the front. This is the tripod CV, or as we call it, the ultimate drive cup. This is a 5 millimeter to go to those Armas. Obviously, we provide them in 8 millimeter as well if you need it, but I'm going to cover that in a second. Because you have the kick up, those pins used to be eaten in a normal drive cap. They used to get eaten just because of that kick-up angle we have in those Armas. And I'm just doing a little recap for those who are not really familiar with the structure of those cars and just received their new car and whatnot. So for those you guys out there that are experienced and know exactly what I'm talking about, sorry about that. That minute or two is crucial. With our design, with a tripod CV design, obviously that angle is a non-issue because the bearing is what actually takes the friction. Hobao guys, I'm just going to get rid of you guys first because then it's going to be less complicated for Arma guys to understand. Hobao guys, you just receive it with normal titanium fittings and 3.5 millimeter pins. This is what you're getting, 8 millimeter cups. You're getting a titanium spool. You're getting extra pins, of course. You're getting extra screws, extra spacers for your spool and whatnot. So your Hobao guys are set. For drag and for speed runs, you guys are good. It doesn't really matter how strong your drag setup is, and it doesn't really matter how fast you're going with your Hobao. We gave our product, our prototypes, to the world's fastest speedrunners and the world's fastest drag drivers, and the ultimate is the solution. That's it. It's done. You get this thing and it's done. Like you're not gonna break it. So the spacer that are provided obviously with those spools are beautifully aligned one next to each other, so it looks really, really nice. You receive 1 millimeter and half millimeters, so you have an actual precision of where you want to position your gear. The titanium spool obviously is housing the drive cups. We got rid of those flat spots. Just like the previous V3, we got rid of the flat spot. We didn't want that set screw to just sit there and kind of grab. We wanted to actually grab. So you have a dual lock mechanism. So I'm going to try and zoom in a little bit just so you guys can see better what I'm doing. This is how this sits. And once you close these in there, obviously degrease everything and Loctite everything, you know the drill. It's in there, it's going nowhere. For Arma, guys, many of you guys, and this is the reason why I'm doing it, because many of you guys have asked me about the length and configuration. What should I get? You guys have been seeing it on the website. Obviously it says sold out because we still don't have the product. Once they're in there, you'll see that it's not sold out anymore. And if on perfectpassrc.com you set your notification on, you should be receiving an email that now they are available. What configuration should I buy, Raz? A lot of you guys are asking this question, so let me explain. It starts with the V1 configuration, right? So when we say V1, it's not the Perfect Pass V1 configuration. These are gone. Now it's only the Ultimate. V1 is a reference to the Limitless. The Limitless, the Infraction, and the Felony, they all have the V1 position, which means the motor mount is all the way to the front. Now, we're using Perfect Pass carbon fiber chassis for the demonstration, but you can obviously use it on many other chassis, and you can use it on the stock chassis that comes with an Arma. This is just a good configuration because the Perfect Pass chassis actually have a ton of holes with all the configurations. V1 position, the normal stock position, what you are well aware of, that came with the Limitless V1, the first Limitless that came out with the Infraction, is this position, which you can fit those 1717s, those Arma motors in the front. This is what you get, or you can actually flip it around, same V1 configuration, and have the motor here in the rear, of course. The Ultimate drive shaft, that is the shortest, that sits here in the front, simply because this is the V1 configuration. And then, because this is for the front, it's the shortest, this is the longest, right? So this sits here, just like so. If you have a Limitless V2, or you have a different chassis that can entertain a Limitless V2 configuration, you have these. V2 configuration, it's this little body. So let's just put the motor mount like it's supposed to be. V1, now we have V2. All the Limitless V2s are coming with that configuration and those holes in the chassis. It's a little bit more to the center of the car, as you can see. This is for the Limitless V2. If you have that configuration, and if you bought a Limitless V2, you should purchase the V2 configuration. They're all the Ultimate, but V2 configuration. V2, this one is just a little bit longer, right? Actually, I want you guys to see exactly how everything looks. So these are obviously all titanium. Everything is titanium, 3.5 millimeter pins and 12 millimeter carbon fiber. Some guys ask me, why can't we have a bigger than 12 millimeter? Well, we can't, because it's gonna start hitting the motors if you're using big cans. Trust me, we've thought about everything. Like I said, it took 6 months to develop and master this product. So V2, either if you want it like that, or if you want it switched around, it doesn't matter. This is the V2. Some of you guys, like my friend Vincent, said, hey Raz, you know, now that you have that chassis and we have the room to do whatever we want, of course, we want to be able to put motors in the rear. So a lot of you guys out there, that's why we added those holes in the GT chassis by Perfect Pass. You wanted the motor mount to be in the rear. That will allow you to put big motors here for duals or for singles. It doesn't matter. This entire demonstration, I'm using a dual motor mount, but obviously all of that is good for single as well. So you wanted to have like 4080s, 2028s, bigger motor, like even the 50, what was it, the 5690s, like even huge motors, it doesn't matter. We left enough room here for those big motors, so you guys are good. You wanted motors in the rear, which means motor in the rear, ESC next to it, and then a ton of room for batteries. That's the only reason you would want to buy the Perfect Pass chassis configuration for the Ultimate, which is actually the longest of the Ultimate drive shaft and the shortest here for the rear here. So the only reason to buy the Perfect Pass chassis configuration for the ultimate drive shaft is if you want to put your motors in the rear. A lot of speedrunners out there with duals are using that configuration. They have big motors here like 4080s, ESC right next to them, so the wires are as short as they can be, and then all the rest in the front, and just have a ton of room. Some of them are actually taking the servo, flipping it, putting it on the actual top deck, and then you really have a ton of room here. It's kind of hard to see in the camera, but you just have a ton of room in the front. You are receiving extra pins with every kit, so I don't really see it happening, but once those 3.5mm pins are going bad, you have extra pins coming with the set. You receive that as well. You also receive extra bearings and extra screws. So if you have any issue with the bearings, with the ultimate drive shaft, you get extra bearings as well. Extra bearings, extra pins, extra spacers for your spool. So your spool is beautiful and you can actually position the gear exactly how you want it with the precision of 0.5mm. Guys, that was important, because a lot of speedrunners out there, we just accept the fact that the spool just moves a little bit, just a little bit, even 0.5mm or a millimeter. We hated it, so we said no more. The spool should sit there, it should free spin, and everything should be perfect, but it should be accurate and in place. That's why we decided we actually had to manufacture them. We looked at standard spacers in the market, and they were just not beautiful and accurate and precise enough for us. So we came up with our own. We are actually manufacturing the spacers. 1mm, this is of course aluminum, and they're obviously anodized. 1mm and 0.5mm spacers comes with the kit as well. Many of you guys ask, well, Raz, sometimes I'm using my Arma, but on my differential, I'm actually using a Hobao input shaft and it's 8mm. No problem. The ultimate cups comes in 5 and in 8. When you buy the Arma kits, of course, you receive it with a 5mm, right? This is the 5mm bore ultimate drive cup. But if you want to upgrade, you can purchase a ultimate drive cup set on the website, which includes 5mm and 8mm, of course. It's available on the website now. I know you guys been waiting for it, and if anything, we had a system glitch. We actually sent out all the emails. Just so you know, if you're new here, when you go to perfectpassrc.com, you can elect notify me when available, when something is out of stock. And something happened in our system and we had a glitch. Sorry about that. And everyone received emails and texts that it's available, went on the website, and it's not. So sorry about that, but now it's available and now I can go on the website. Same dealio with all our products. You snooze, you lose. There is a certain amount of them. We had to build them each one by hand, so it takes time. There's a certain amount. If you bought it, great. If not, wait for the next batches. They're on the website. Link is in the description, perfectpassrc.com. We appreciate you guys as a customer, and we appreciate you guys as the driving force to our passion. And now, if you're already a smart buyer and you are opt into our email list on the website, it's completely free. You can always undo it in seconds. This is where you're getting all the notification if a product is back in stock or if there are crazy deals. Like sometimes I'll just go crazy and give you guys like 20% for one night. So everything is on that email list on the website. We call it the VIP program. You just go into perfectpassrc.com and you sign into our emails. It takes 2 seconds, really. If you're already there, then you know about this product the day before. So for the guys that are not there and just seeing this on YouTube, sorry if it's already out of stock. I tried. I am asking a lot of you guys to actually opt into that email list because there's a lot of customers that are upset every time a product is out of stock. So not really our problem. We're doing our best. We're making as fast as the products are as fast as we can. But go to our website, and also we will announce products before they are out on our Instagram and Facebook pages. So feel free to go to Instagram, Perfect Pass RC, obviously, and Facebook, Perfect Pass RC, and follow us. So you know about those little hidden deals and coupons or products that are about to be launched before they're actually launched to the mass, which is YouTube. For those who needs a little bit of extra guidance, I just want to show you a quick demo of how you actually install the Perfect Pass Ultimate Drive Shaft system. So you have your differential and you have your input shaft, right? You're going to hold your input shaft with your finger so it's all the way outwards, right? Now, when it comes to your drive cup, we recommend that you degrease the thread. Sometimes they're still oily from machining. After you do that, obviously, apply Loctite for your set screws, of course. And then We recommend that you take the flat spot, that is the bigger one. It really depends on personal preferences, but I take the bigger one, and then I actually match it to the flat spot on the drive cup. Start with the flat spot set screw. Tighten this one first, and then the other one on the side. Now this is how everything should look once you're done. Let me just zoom in here. This is how it should look once you're done. As you can see, the flat spot on the input shaft with the flat spot. Those set screws were actually designed to be flat with the drive cup once they're all tightened. This is how everything looks once you're done on the car. This is the rear differential, of course, and this is the front differential, of course, with the ultimate drive cup installed. Now, when it comes to the spool, by the way, don't worry about this being black. This is just a demo spool. Yours will be obviously titanium. When it comes to it, we designed on our drive cups a little bump here. Let me try and zoom in just so you guys can see it. So don't worry about putting the bearing just straight to the drive cup. They're actually designed to complement this, and the spools are just extremely straight. Everything, we worked really hard to make sure that everything is balanced. All the weights are distributed evenly and whatnot when it comes to the spool, when it comes to the set screws, when it comes to the drive cup. So once you put that bearing all the way here, you can actually put your spacers, gears, spacers, and then another bearing. And like I said, these are just state of the art, but once you buy yours and fill it, you will see. Now, depending on what vendors you're using for your chassis and or your motor mounts, obviously those shafts will work with all chassis and all motor mounts vendors, even Arma, stock, or third parties, it doesn't matter. Depending on what vendors you're using, you might still have just a little bit of give right in this area. Sorry for the shaky camera. Right in this area. In order to make this perfect, of course, let me just zoom you guys out so you see what I'm doing. In order to make it perfect, we provide rubber O-rings with your kit. So the kit, the set that you're purchasing, comes with a bunch of rubber O-rings that fit exactly the cup. Let me just get a little drive here. They actually fit exactly, and once you actually squish them down, they sit there really nice, and they will provide that little bit of cushioning that you might need in this area, just so you guys can have a setup that the spool doesn't move, the shafts don't move too much. Don't make it too tight, of course. You can give it a little, like a millimeter of movement, but we just want to make sure that your entire drive line is solid.